this featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, we have the entry of two new teams to the world stage. Team Wales, the #2 spot coming from the VCS, has had an incredible journey to make it here, winning 2 back-to-back 3-2 series. And these young guns are ready to continue Vietnam's legacy on the international stage.
Một bóng đồng hồ đợi đồng đội Quỳnh lao lên bảng đáng sát thủ đã hồi lại và Artemis bắn yếu càng. Anh ta bắn được 1 mạng, anh ta bắn được 2 mạng. Team Secret thất bại trong pha giao tranh.
They do, however, have their work cut out for them against the LEC's 4th seed in Team BDS, who decisively beat Golden Guardians to prove that they deserve to be on the world stage and demand respect from every team in play-ins.
And Crownie together versus the world, and here comes the Garen. BDS again finding the angle. It was all good for Golden Guardians, but they can't find the fight, and BDS bring it back.
Something inside of me was like convinced we would storm them. In the end, we managed, and I said I'm just way better. So.
Will BDS carry on a flawless streak, or will Team Wales take a huge win for the VCS against the LEC? And welcome back to Worlds. Team BDS make their debut at the international stage and their first ever World Championship Best of Series. They're facing off against Team Wales, coming out of VCS as the 2nd seed. I'm going to start with the fact that they had a dominating win over the Golden Guardians in a clean 3-0 sweep. Mark, how did they get here?
Oh, God, I couldn't tell you. I think I blacked out during this one. It was not a fun time for North American fans, but for BDS, they were able to absolutely dismantle Golden Guardians, had the better of them the entire time. Game 2 was the only close one, and even then they were able to come back with some really nice team fighting.
And honestly, this is the best form we've seen BDS in a long time. They weren't necessarily very good coming into summer. A lot of the issues they had that plagued them, specifically around that mid to late game, we didn't really see much of outside of the game 2, but as you said, they're still able to fight back in it. And I think as an individual level, Sheo, Nuke, players that also deserves a lot of praise because they stepped up.
And I mean, there was some concern coming in for BDS. I think one of the main threads that we had during the qualifying series was that not only did the meta and the team comp kind of fit BDS's strengths, they went back to playing a style that we saw a lot of success on them much earlier on in the year. And as you're seeing on your screen, Adam popped off. So I'd like to take a moment to talk about some gods. I want to talk about Garen, I want to talk about Olaf, Darius, and Set. Gods, gods, God. It is the world anthem. When Phoenix was the world anthem, Fun Plus Phoenix went on to win the world championship. I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying it's an interesting tidbit. And in addition, there's that Korean meme talking about his champion pool, talking about his play. Adam also played like a god. 6 solo kills in those 3 games against GG.
Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely insane. I don't think it can be understated, but I also just think his champions work so well into the top laners that's meta currently. The fact that you can have a Darius against the renekton, the fact that you have a Garen against the Jags where the Counter-Strike won't do anything and you're just allowed to play the game. Yeah, Adam popped off, and there's not much else to say about it. You look at the forward percentage, and he was just chilling.
Yeah, I just appreciate that there's enough creativity in this team while also still relying on a lot of backline, front-to-back team fighting kind of things. Sheo also with his level 1s in Game 3 had a really nice invade.
They're so good.
Yeah, they always have a little splash of spice, whether it's coming from Adam's champion pool, his roam, some of those interesting things, or from the jungle. So it's a very exciting team to watch, and I think secretly becoming borderline hometown crowd favorites. They get the loudest cheers by far.
Oh, I'm so glad you actually mentioned that. Also, huge kudos to the production team. I think this is a great graphic setup. I do actually want to hear from Adam himself about what he had to say about what he said on stage about the whole Gods meme from the local fans.
So Korean fans call you the superstar. And are you aware of the Korean meme called 가다 세월?
I knew about Kai'Sa only 2 days ago, you know, because of Twitter. So 감사합니다.
I think it's fair to say that most of the minor region teams are not going to have that level of support from the home crowd, from the Korean fans who are going to be filling out most of the venue. So it's really cool to see them kind of as the stars of play-ins that a lot of people are hoping to watch. And even just all year long, it sounds like had a lot of fans in Korea.
And historically as well, Garen is a pick that in the Korean server and in South Korea has been a meme, has been something that culturally they played with. The fact that he plays it legitimately and wins with it, it also has that deeper connection. We spent a lot of time on Team BDS. Let's turn our focus to their opponents today, Team Wales. It is a brand new org from the VCS. BDS. 3 players making their international debut in Sparda, Glory, and Artemis. Glory, I know, is the player you're the most excited about.
I love Glory, baby. I've been reviewing this team, and are they going to win against BDS? I still think they're heavy underdogs coming into it. I think BDS are favorites. But Glory, to me, has been so exciting to watch. I think from the early game that he plays out, he has the best laning phase out of all of them. Artemis is a really good team fighter. Laning phase is a bit iffy, but Glory, to me, has been super excited. I love him on the control mages currently. I think that even the game they lost in the finals here on his Syndra, he was completely 1v9, finding plays for them to play the team fight, buying space from Artemis, and just in general, leading the team forward. If Glory has a good early game, then the rest of Team Wales will have a good game. And he's been one of the best performing mid laners coming out of Vietnam for so long, who's just never been able to make it to the international stage.
If they have gauze for BDS, they have the grind and the glory backing up.
Absolutely.
Side of Team Wales. So this is a logo battle. We'll see, or catchphrase battle. We'll see who's able to come out on top. I definitely agree that he is the biggest individual agency player, I think, for them by quite a bit. But Artemis does, like you say, have good team fighting. And I feel like where this team sometimes struggles a little bit is because their top side with BeanJ and Sparda love to dive in, and then suddenly Artemis is all alone. I think that's one of the ways that BDS might be able to expose them and something to keep an eye on throughout the series.
Listen, I'm just going to put it out there. Either your eyes will bleed of joy or of depression when you watch some of the plays that come through in the top lane. They will flip it, and they will either look like a god or they'll look a bit embarrassing. So I'm excited to watch BeanJ and Sparda because no matter what, it will be exciting.
All right, here we are just about to move on, so I'm just want to make sure I understand. BDS heavy favorites here. We're both expecting 2-0s. The only way we kind of see a potential Team Wales win is if Glory pops off and kind of shuts down Nuke, takes it from the mid lane, right?
I mean, yeah, and the rest of the team obviously steps up as well.
Okay, oh, yeah. But I mean, it starts from there, right? That's the man that we have to watch.
That's a good starting point.
That's the way we have to watch. That does it from us here on the Analyst Desk. Before we get into picks and bans, let's check out what BDS's Crownie had to say about this matchup in our Verizon Game Day interview.
And welcome back to Seoul for the pre-game interview of Crownie, BDS Crownie, facing off Team Wales today. How are you doing? First off, tell me about winning against Golden Guardians. How did it feel?
It felt amazing, of course, to play in LOL Park and see all the Korean and international fans. It was really nice, and I think we showed up on the day, so it was very nice.
And now focusing on the next opponent, you had to prepare for this game. I don't know how much time you got to study your next opponent, but it looks like Artemis, the bot laner for Team Wales, is the main carry for the team. What do you think about the matchup, him as a player, and the best way to defeat them? I
mean, I know he is quite good from what I've heard from people, and I know he also played the Asia Games for Vietnam, and he had a good showing there. So for sure I have to respect them, but I think as long as we play like we did against Golden Guardians, we should be in a good spot.
I remember the interview we had in the ADC when you qualified for the match against Golden Guardians. Not Worlds yet, but Korea. Yes. Now you're at Worlds. Yes. This is going to be your first Worlds. I can't believe, given how long you've been playing Crownie. What is your resolution for this Worlds, and how hyped are you about playing Worlds in Korea? I
mean, I would say very hyped, obviously. I would say my resolution is to try to play I mean, everyone says close to like in scrims, but like to not be scared to make plays and to play aggressive and, you know, to bait enemy spells and stuff. And I think against Golden Guardians, there was still a bit of stage nerves, at least for me, like the new setup and stuff like that. So I would say my resolution is to just be comfortable on stage and play confidently.
Well, wishing you the best of luck. Hope you can go as far as possible. Thank you so much for the interview and good luck today.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Caster Desk, everybody. I'm Munch. I'm joined by Ender as we head towards our second series of the day. And I think, you know, we just heard from Crownie. He's feeling confident coming in. I think a lot of EU fans watching will be feeling confident, especially after the showing we got from BDS in the World's Qualifying Series. They're up against Team Wales today. And I think Team Wales, for a lot of people at home, somewhat of an unknown factor, right? Somewhat of a team that this is their international debut as an organization. It's the international debut for 3 of the players on the roster as well. And they're going to be hoping that this is a debut that they can remember.
Yeah, they're going to think, EMEA in play-ins. We can get through this easy over against BDS here. But we'll see what they can do. They're not a super aggressive team in the early game, and that's definitely an area where BDS will look to attack them. So similar to maybe a CFO that we saw in the last game, I'd love to see a little bit more proactivity come in from them in the early stages to beat BDS their own game.
Yeah, you saw BeanJ flashing up on the screen there. He's the player I'm looking at in that early game. Loves to go for a level 3 gang. Loves to keep the tempo of the game high to start things off. But whether or not you can make that happen on the international stage is a different question to domestic play.
Yeah, it's not that they won't try for plays, it's that they don't usually generate large leads. That's great clarification on that one. BDS already walked out. They're sitting down. All right. Did we not? I feel like we missed them walking out.
They're organized, okay?
All right.
They came in during the previous series, just like kind of nudging people out. Like,
because they already walked out, maybe. So maybe they don't get to do it again. I don't really know what the rules are. Either way, the 4th seed representative from EMEA and the LEC, Team BDS. And this is a team, we're just hot dropping in. Forget all the boring stuff. Only the fun stuff here. We don't even want to talk about bans. It's just Rell insta-lock.
Crucially, Rell, flex pick, it's been banned a ton so far this tournament. We do get it first picked instantly by BDS. We could see it in the jungle. We could see it in support. Very, very strong pick, but instantly that renekton locked in. We've seen domination in the top lane from renekton.
Place your bets. Garen, Olaf,
Darius.
Dare I say Set? Yeah, everything is up for grabs for Adam on the top side of the map. Man play just about anything. But we will see, because I think the Lee Sin is a champion that's been getting banned out a ton. Got some small buffs, I think, on the kit there, but always going to be a champion that crosses your minds when you come over to Worlds. But there we go! The Darius coming out. Adam was all over the Garen in the series versus Golden Guardians to qualify here, but now we get the signature.
I just love that, like, you come to an international tournament, there's a lot of players that'll have pocket picks and stuff, then they come to an international and they're like, well, maybe we should just play meta, maybe we should play how everyone else plays. It's like, no. This guy knows he's good. He knows how he plays, and he sticks to his style even on the international stage. And I respect that.
Yeah, and look, if you are not a viewer of the LEC, and the last thing you really remember of Adam is when he came to Worlds with Fnatic, this guy is a completely different player. He got sent down to the LFL on BDS's second team, re-earned his spot just at the start of this year, and he has been so dominant in the top lane. Tons of solo kills, leading the league, most splits up on the top side of the map, has been doubling down on that unique style of these huge lane bully juggernaut champs as well.
I was about to mention Talia was making it through the draft so far with the Azir and Orianna banned. It could be a power pick, but is going to be banned away by BDS. I think Team Wales were trying to set up for the Talia there potentially. And now Ivan taken off the board away from Sheo as well. We've already seen some jungle shenanigans against Golden Guardians from Sheo when he got that Maokai. See if something like that can come out again.
Yeah, Sheo on a lot of champions I think can be pretty impactful, especially the ones where he can get inside the enemy jungle. But we'll see, because BeanJ obviously very aggro on the opposite side, and if you can sort of beat Sheo on those early gank timings, you can generate a lead before he's able to get in your jungle, layer down vision, and protect his lanes.
So we'll see where Team Wales are going to go from here. They've got their bot lane, they've got a top lane. Pretty strong lock-in so far. They want to leave that jungle until they know where Rell is going. So going for the Neeko, great priority pick in that mid lane. And then they can find out where that Rell is going before they lock in their jungle.
I would love an Alistar coming in here against these big engaged like mage champions, the Neeko especially. If Neeko tries to come in on an angle, just the headbutt to send her completely out of there. Ezreal can also stay relatively safe versus the Neeko, because I think before this, Neeko looks like a really awesome pick. You see like a lot of melee champions, that means pretty easily you're able to land your roots on the Neeko. Ultimate's going to be catching out a lot of players, but now that Alistar really messes some things up. The Syndra as well to scatter the weak. If you're coming in on a flank, you're going to get stuffed as Glory on the Neeko. It's very important that Glory finds ways to approach fights from the fog of war or abusing, the passive clone thing, so that Nuke and Labrov don't realize until it's too late that Neeko's on them.
Yeah, honestly, I'm quite liking the BDS composition just based on, there is so much ACC and B damage coming from this squad. The one weakness you'd say is, maybe they could be outranged, but then when you look at what they're up against, Kai'Sa, no range whatsoever. Neeko wants to get in the middle of it. renekton wants to get in the middle of it. So it feels like this composition for BDS should be able to thrive with just sheer damage, sheer CC, and a lot of AoE damage as well. If you get people multiple knockups with the Alistar, with the Rell charging in as well, that sets up for huge huge burst down from you, Ken.
It 100% does. I think Team Wales, too, have a couple of like abilities that are kind of must dodges from BDS, right? You have to avoid Neeko. You have to avoid Rakan. If you can do that, you're probably winning the fight. Team Wales going to be doing the same thing against the Scatter, the Weak, the Rell ult, the Alistar coming in. So once you can clear those abilities, that's where the AD carries, I feel like, really got unleashed. Ezreal going to be hyper mobile. Kai'Sa can wait for that moment to dive into the fight. It's going to be so many fights that teeter on a knife's edge. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, I feel.
It certainly is. And I feel like, you know, watching that series against Golden Guardians, BDS were playing with pace. You know, they weren't playing slow. They weren't just waiting for the game to come to them. They were making things happen, and I want to see that again today. But I'm curious to see Team Wales because, you know, coming from VCS, this is a region that is renowned for their kills per minute. Like, this is the region that took the kills per minute title from LPL just a few years ago. And since then, they have maintained that high kills per minute. So I'm hoping and anticipating that this should be a little bit of a bloodbath.
Yeah, Team Wales is a bit of an anomaly, though, because compared to a lot of other representatives from the VCS, actually looking at them compared to all the VCS reps that have rejoined ever since the VCS started re-attending international events, they are the least bloody of the early game teams on that front. See what they do here up against BDS. Might be a little bit tough for BeanJ to get super involved early on, but I have to say, in a late game team fight, transforming into a Darius, I feel like you're cleaning up fights when you can take over Adam.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how those fights are going to go, but we'll have to see if we ever get to like the 5v5 situation, because I feel like so often in an early game, we'll talk about like late game team fighting compositions.
The scaling.
Then, like, you know, in 10 minutes time, one team's 5k ahead. It's like, okay, we're never having a proper 5v5. But I do want to quickly mention, like, Team Wales, this is a team that I think a lot of viewers at home won't have heard of before unless you've been watching the VCS. This is their first time at Worlds. And this has kind of come off the back of Saigon Buffalo, a team that has been to Worlds, that has represented previously.
Yeah, the Mark Ruffalo Buffaloes.
Exactly, exactly. Well, the team sort of disbanded at the end of spring, had some financial troubles, and BeanJ was one of the players that came from that roster, joined Team Wales, and has brought a lot of power with him. He's one of the big reasons why this team has made it. The team generally loves to play around the bottom lane, but we're looking top for now as Adam just charging straight in for the 1v1 to kick it off.
Sparda wins those, though. A little bit of burn. Oh, my.
Does he? Adam flashing onto Sparda.
Giga Chatham in the top lane. That's just stupid in all the best way. I love that. Adam knows he will dominate the trade with the W. And now he activates Ghost. He's still going.
And that's flash gone from Sparda as well. It's cost Adam both of his songs. But
doesn't matter.
He has so much presence up here. He knows the enemy jungler is on the bottom side. He should be able to just get a crash and a free reset.
And he's doing this because Sparda has Ignite on the other side too. So he's like, I need to take control of this lane quickly, get that prio. Sparda's never going to be able to fight me. He walked in and warded BeanJ's red buff initially as well. So BeanJ might have a chance to avoid vision. Check this out. Missing ping on the red buff. The timing is BeanJ could have cleared 3 camps, but he has avoided vision entirely, and Adam is super pushed up with no sums. The thing is, his minion wave is so large and Sheo is looking to cover. Sheo knows how his top laner plays, that the gank opportunity fizzles out.
And on top of that, like, Sparda's so low.
Oh my god, they're diving.
Even if you go for... Oh, hang on. Not. They're actually going to go for this one. BeanJ's in the area. This could get dangerous. Apprehend in. The stun is there. A good dash away from Sparda. Negates the play. I love this, though. Straight off of the bat, we are seeing BDS taking this game into their hands.
Yeah, they just want to keep pressuring here as well, because anything, Sparda's going to be missing minions. BA looking around mid lane for Nuke. Nice scatter of the weak, though, and he's too close to tower to actually make anything happen. So back to top lane. We're diving, we're diving.
They're just going to go for it again. Sparda, though, gets stunned onto Adam. The turret, that was hitting a caster minion behind Adam, not hitting Adam.
But these are wins on wins on wins. BeanJ loses the flash. Sparda uses the Ignite, no kill, and the minions, exactly. I was going to say, when you're fighting underneath the tower, oftentimes, the blinders go on, and you just go for the kill. But BDS just denied, I think, 7 minions that I saw underneath the tower, just off of those 2 dive looks at Sparda. The man is hurting in the top lane, and it's all off of that pressure from Sheo.
And one of the best bits is as well, Sheo, he may be a camp or 2 down now, but BeanJ has kept on trying to come back up. Oh, BeanJ's going to walk in. Does drop the ward, though. He'll get out with his life by the looks of things here. Moving back up towards that top side. Sheo now keeping BeanJ interested. He's actually winning the 1v1.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, because BeanJ, what else is there to do? All his camps could except Raptors, so he wants to look for the topside gank. Sheo has only cleared the 3 bot side camps. His Raptors have respawned before he's cleared any of his topside camps, and he's still top lane.
He's actually going to go for this again. He flashes for the pullback. You're going nowhere. Apprehended and taken down. Sheo jousting towards victory.
If you play top lane in solo queue, you have known the situation Sparda has found himself in, where the enemy jungle refuses to clear his camps. And you're like, eventually you just got to step up and farm a minion. He's only got 12, but he just one after another after another. BeanJ's right there, just shadowing him, but it doesn't matter without any sums.
It's just brutal. He's been absolutely brutalized. He is 20 CS down at 5 minutes. That is... I mean, can you recover from this is the question. He's going to need some help from BeanJ, but it might be a matter for Team Wales of abandoning this top lane and trying to play through bot.
What are you going to do? I mean, BeanJ was trying to reset as well, so not only does Sparda die, BeanJ like wastes so much time here picking the wave up while camps are still alive on the bot side. Finally, Sheo goes back, takes Scuttle Crab, takes 2 of the camps on the top side. So he's a little bit delayed on the tempo getting back onto the map compared to BeanJ, but Viego with no flash is not going to do anything in terms of actually finding a gank window. Maybe he tries, but it's so tough because now he has to cover for topside. This wave is pushing into Adam's side. See that? There's 6-7 ranged minions up on that one for Sparta's side, so that's an obvious push for the renekton.
I think one of the toughest things as well is that because you went Ignite on the renekton now and you're behind, you're never really going to have kill pressure in the 1v1. Sheo.
He's coming back!
I expect Sheo to just stay here pretty much all game at this point as he charges on it. Sparda, you're gone. It's another kill for Adam as they decimate this top side. But the Ignite is going to be useless, and he won't have a TP for later. Like, this is a disaster for Team Wales.
How to watch just 2 players win an entire map, the tutorial, Adam and Sheo. I mean, bot side is doing well for BDS. They're up 12 CS, which is wonderful. Scatter of the Week doesn't quite connect, so Glory gets out of there with a quick thumbs up. But the fact is, like, BeanJ was in position to try and cover Sparda. You have to cover Sparda there. It doesn't matter that you know Sheo is taking the reset and has all of his camps on the bot side up. That wave is pushing in. There is an angle for Sheo, and Sheo is going to take that angle. Sheo was at his best in the LEC when he was playing very aggressive inside the enemy jungle, but BeanJ's looking bot.
Crownie forced a flash here as BeanJ tries to get into the lane. Labrov low, but does still have his own flash available. Stunned up. Oh, yeah, that stun went through Crownie to hit him. Crownie trying to block that, I believe, but Labrov survives, and that's what's important. Actually kept his flash alive as well.
As I was saying, though, I mean, hold on, because Adam's
Step
level
outside the
6. Flashes are back now. Sparta's about to be in like half a second, but this wave in a tough spot. Gonna be really hard to farm. Nice scatter of the week. Good damage.
Glory could be in trouble here. It's a great route to answer, though. Will survive. Not quite enough damage from Nuke at this point. The Dark Seal in pocket, you know that this is a Team BDS that want to snowball. They had a very fast win in game number 1 against Golden Guardians. So far, so good to try and replicate. Sparda trying to answer this one. Ignite available, but just has to slice and dice away.
Good news for him. Jungler's on the bot side of the map, so surely Sparta's not going to get dove, although now that he doesn't have the Dominus, maybe he just can be. He is down 30 CS at the moment. That is brutal. And now Sheo's jumped over the wall, starting up the Dragon. BDS, our team that love to stack their Drakes, and it comes when Adam roams down. So he takes this early priority and just starts walking down on the map. He's not going to go for the full roam this time because they realize, hey, we have full bot prio, mid lane's looking good as well. So he rewards the enemy jungle. Look at the coverage. Ward on red buff, ward on Krugs. There's that control ward to the left of red buff as well that's going to last a long, long time. You're not going to do anything as BeanJ on the top side of the map this game.
And in the meantime, the bottom side are ahead as well. 10 CS, they've got Prio to force this Drake as well. And Sean Nuke falling a little bit behind in the middle.
Okay.
Oof. That was a weird bit from both sides.
So Glory was really considering the flash there because BA could follow him up, but then, right when he was about to, sees Labrov come out of the fog of war, cancels it.
Yeah. But still got the flash out from Nuke, who was predicting the flash from Glory. As now, with no flash available, rooted up, might just be taken down here. That's a nice little kill, but a solo kill in the meantime. Shadow,
he wants more.
Just take it over. BeanJ gets their herald, but Adam's here to try and apprehend it. Ultimate out from BeanJ.
Okay. Team Wales, let's keep fighting around mid. Let's try to fight around bot. Top lane is a disaster. We ignore that entirely. But the angle they just looked for in mid was fantastic. Burn the flash, then immediate repeat, and they find the punish.
Hold my point for a second, because Sheo might be going for something here. Charges it and just takes the red buff away.
Big counter jungler in the LEC.
Honestly, he's just not giving BeanJ a second to breathe. And I want to just... Oh, let's do the replay, and then I'll come back to that point.
I'm going to guess that he uses his abilities. Okay, there we go. W to slow. Yep. Sparda uses abilities to run. Adam uses abilities to chase. And Adam kills. Okay, yep, that's how that works.
You know, 40 CS. Adam going full French. She loves a guillotine. As Sparda could be in trouble again. Sheo is here, pulls them in, knocks them both up. The sustain is there, and BeanJ bleeds to death. Sparda's gonna be next. Is the Q coming back up? Quickness though. Oh, but he channeled it just in time. The buffer is beautiful from Adam as he looks for a little bit more as well, and he still lives on. Adam is unstoppable.
Adam is here, and he's not here to play games. He's here to take names. Top lane 5-0-1. Dominate. He didn't even have the ultimate for that 2 versus 3, and they turn it straight back around. It's just disturbing what he and Sheo have done this game to the top lane.
It's brutal. And on top of it, like, Team Wales, they love to play around Artemis. That's their usual game plan. And they feel like they can't this game. They feel like they have to focus on Adam. So they're playing against their usual strengths anyway.
Just give up. It's not gonna work. You think Adam's by himself. He isn't. Sheo is always there. They are best friends on the top side. And look at that. I mean, like, Adam, every single Q, it's hitting 2 players for the maximum damage on the outside there. Here again, Sparda tries to walk in. While he's charmed, that Q still goes through from Adam for the kill. They just cannot finish it off.
I mean, I'd love to see the total number of, like, healing in that fight from Adam, because he got solo so many times. Oh my god, he's done it again.
Does he just
Is
bleed?
the bleed enough? I don't know. There's a pot ticking away. The bleed is there. Is it enough? Oh, you better believe it is. Adam just can't stop.
See, I remember I told you that's a different player than Fnatic Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah, different player.
No, yeah,
completely.
I'm with you.
His name isn't even Adam anymore. We call him Chatham.
Yeah, this is something else. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw a player have this many solo kills, have a 6-0 scoreline, 11 minutes in the game.
I mean, he's making it look like 2015 Juggernaut patch Darius. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, is this C9 balls in the top lane, or is it Adam? It's just disgusting either way.
Yeah, this is something else. And Team Wales, they're in such a tough spot in terms of trying to get control of the rest of the map again, because, like, mid and bot relatively even. You've got a minor lead there for Glory. Obviously did manage to get the kill alongside BeanJ, or I think it was Bia actually, in the mid lane onto Nuke. But aside from that, you're really struggling. And Sheo, even though he sacked a lot of farm early on to make this camp happen up towards Adam, he's actually even because BeanJ had to spend so much time trying to answer the camp.
Yeah. It's upsetting, honestly. I will say, I'm a big fan of coping. So, Team Wales, what do we do here? First step, ignore top lane. Sparda's going to farm under turret as well as he can. He's probably going to die a few more times. That's okay. We need to start investing in other areas on the map. That's going to be around your duo lane, around mid lane. I think Glory is definitely a player you can get behind. Already has the kill, the lead. Now they're going to get some turret plates into the Kai'Sa's pockets as well. So, lovely. That's exactly what we need to be doing for Team Wales. Now when it comes to the team fights, it is a hope and a prayer that we can kill Adam and that BeanJ can assume his form in the fight. You turn into that turbo-fed Darius, all of a sudden, all the early game doesn't matter. You're taking that for yourself, all those items, and those fights could genuinely turn.
It's actually a genius strategy from BeanJ.
Oh yeah, it's the strategy.
Like, get the Darius really fed so I can be the really fed Darius.
Sparda is just so smart. It's all part of the plan.
I can't believe how much the bleed did as well. Through a
He's
pot.
potioning. Like, the man is glowing green, and, oh.
Not anymore, he ain't. Not anymore. Not even a blink of emotion there. Puts a little grin on as the bleed finishes him off. Oh dear, Adam is having the time of his life on the stage right now, and rightly so.
Nuke is top lane right now, but I don't think that's going to matter for Team Wales. Glory wants a reset, and as a matter of fact, that's just a lot of minions lost on the top side. As soon as actually all these players are showing they're teleporting in, they want the fight.
Labrov stepping backwards, does dodge away from the stun from BeanJ there. Drake taken. Team Wales a little bit too late to the party to actually try and contest anything. And in the meantime, no teleport available because Sparda has Ignite, and that means that Nuke can just take it out for free.
Yeah, I think Team Wales went for that because turret plates were going down. I think initially Glory wanted to teleport top lane, then realized, hey, it's 14 minutes, so Nuke by staying up there isn't actually going to get a ton of gold.
Good lord.
Okay.
3,500 gold! 14 minutes on a single player. That is absurd!
Huh. I'm trying to like find a way to contextualize this. It's like
that's a full mythic.
Yeah, but it's like you're playing like an RPG game and you get into the late game and you just have like $400 million. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, you just buy all the luxury items. Like, Adam is just full luxury. He has Stridebreaker plus boots plus some components there to a Phage.
Yeah.
That's the top lane matchup currently.
I mean, the funny thing is as well, like, when you look at the gold difference between the two teams, Adam's individual lead is higher than the gold difference between the teams currently. Like, he's kind of hoping the rest of the team will pick it up maybe at this point. But yeah, getting a good engage here. Nuke in trouble.
Nice.
Great little ult from BeanJ. And that'll finish the job. Great pick on the bottom side. As BDS in the meantime, we're going for the Herald.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need to look for. Look for cross-map plays. Sacrifice Herald, but Sparda gets to easily farm that bot side. BeanJ gets the kill. Artemis has push in mid. Like, they actually get to win in 2 lanes very briefly for the price of the Herald. Difficulty is going to be, of course, it's not so simple to do that for the coming Dragons because BDS are a team that puts so much priority on stacking the Dragons early. They force you into those fights in the mid game. Maybe Team Wales can give the next one because, frankly, if Adam shows up, it is completely Jover. But that 4th Drake, they're going to have to put up something.
They're going to have to, especially with Mountain, especially with the Alistar, the Rell. You're going to get so much value out of that kind of Drake sort of game. And it's not like, I think the thing that I'm struggling with in this one is like BDS are so far ahead through Adam in this one. And while Nuke is behind in the mid lane, Crownie has a ever so slight CS lead, but realistically there's no difference in our AD carries here. Like, they're Ezreal and Syndra. It's not like they need to be ahead right now. It's not like these are champions that are going to fall off later on. Like, BDS, they're absolutely chilling.
Let's make a pact. Let's not talk about Adam
okay.
until 20 minutes minimum. Let's see if we can do it. Obviously, if it's no fight, we're going to have to say the name. But I am personally tiring of talking about how far ahead that player is. So I think it's really important to say Glory has the 2nd highest damage in the game so far.
Yeah, he does. He certainly does.
And that's...
managing to get 600
if you double
ahead
it still doesn't
Sparda.
catch the other number, but it's all good.
I just want to let everyone know as well, this is our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. It's BDS versus Team Wales here as the VCT 2nd seed tries to make their name on the international stage in their international debut. And so far, a certain player that will not be mentioned says no.
Indeed. Glory going to be able to pick up this turret on the top side. Overall, only 2.5, 3K down. But this mid lane turret is certainly going to be falling on the push right there. 4 players grouped up as BDS jump onto BeanJ. He's going to have to ult out again and still in trouble. He has to flash. It's the 2nd time now he's just been forced away. Demanded to use his ultimate to escape. And if you just look at the minimap currently, like the fact of how much vision, forward vision BDS have, make the game impossible to play. Because Team Wales looking for the cross-map pressure or anything like this, it doesn't work if BDS are just pushing into mid, and looking for picks doesn't work if they see you coming a mile away.
Nuke could be in trouble here as Glory tries to move up. No, he's not! They toggled vision, even I was baited! And Glory goes down. As we're not at 20 minutes yet, I won't mention his name, but a certain player may have just breasted 7 kills.
Nuke just at the end of the fishing line right there, just reels Glory on in. Completely destroyed. But this is what I'm talking about. There's just pings non-stop. I actually don't think Glory had been seen with the vision coming through. I think he avoided that narrowly as the base was being channeled there, but it doesn't matter. He showed up on the vision when it mattered, and now we're just 15 seconds off of Drake. Positioning on map tells me Team Wales don't want to fight this. Yeah, BA looking for a reset here, only has one ward on the support item. So he's actually playing top side, and again, looking for some kind of cross map. That's not going to work, cross-mapping around this renekton though, perhaps. Just offering some support and, of course, maybe a chance to place that ward on the enemy blue buff, which he does before looking for the reset.
The one thing I'm looking towards for Team Wales here is, you know, Artemis now 2 items, or 2.5 items on this Kai'Sa. The guy's known as a bit of a teamfight monster. Like, this team's identity is not really about just, like, slaughtering the early game. It's much more about winning those teamfights later on. So hopefully there's a situation where, you know, we've seen already Kai'Sa's absolutely assassinating people.
Yeah.
We've seen what this pick can do with the right situation. I mean, Kai'Sa versus Ezreal, almost a famous matchup for being able to just one-shot the Ezreal. So BDS, even though they are ahead, even though they've got a big lead up in that top side, like, they do need to be cautious on how they play, because you misstep for just a second, you are going to get one shot.
It's true. I'm kind of two minds about this Kai'Sa build, because obviously, like, all-inning on the lethality early is so much burst damage, especially on squishies. But if you're forced into a position where you have to fight front to back here, and you're just hitting a Darius, a Sejuani, and Alistar, like, that's going to be neutralized pretty heavily. And I know, you know, the Kai'Sa like to dip into the AP after this. The passive, of course, is going to do a lot of percent HP damage and sort of make up for that when you are hitting frontline. But I still think the only fights that Team Wales really have a chance of winning are fights where Artemis can follow up on some kind of engage from, like, Glory and BA onto the squishy back.
Trying to get onto Adam here. 4-man stack. Adam is tanky though. He pulls him in. He heals himself up, and the rest of the team arrives. It's disaster for Team Wales as they try to find a pick, and they just get slaughtered. 3 picks for BDS and straight onto the Baron.
You just can't kill him. He is going all the way. Now Labrov and Nuke hunting down the last 2 kills. It's a support and a minion fleeing the scene of the crime. PA is going to pull on that minion. I don't think they're supposed to be able to run that way.
Yeah, Glory's going to try and get away. I don't know if they're going to make chase properly, but actually it looks like Crownie wants to, heading up towards that direction. Glory tagged. Red buff, I think, taken away there. So the slow should be in play as they look towards Scatter the Weak potentially. Glory trying to get out with his life, but they will not allow a single soul to escape. BDS, they take Baron. They take a delayed ace. They might even get a tier 2 in the mid lane.
Adam goes legendary in that fight. Remember when I was like, I don't know how they really get through this front line. Adam just would not die. And the fact that his Q is hitting 3-4 players every single time, that's just an absurd amount of healing.
I mean, BDS coming into this tournament look so good now.
Man, I mean, Artemis is here, but again, it's the lethality build, so it's the damage actually coming on in. First of all, big shield onto Adam initially, then the Q to survive. He also hits the Punny Fruit. Is able to scoop up maybe 1 or 2 off that. I mean, what are you going to do?
the Stride Breaker Q onto Artemis just does like 2/3 of his health.
Yeah,
Adam
he's been breaking ankles all game.
Adam didn't even like go towards Artemis to try and finish him. He just walked off to the rest of the team. He's like, you get that one, Crownie. That one's for you. That's a little freebie. I'm going to go kill everyone else.
That's like awesome though, right? Because that's how you need to play the... I'm going to hold that thought because Glory's a minion again. Count your minions. Okay.
He's not going to get away with it.
There's 4 melee minions. I wonder which one's the Neeko. That's a little game you can play. But yeah, I mean, just the Darius positioning in the middle of as many people as possible is exactly the position you want to be in. Maximize that AoE damage.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the healing as well. The first Q got him like 500 health back or something absurd. It means you're so much tankier than you actually look. And he's already pretty tanky.
Count your minions!
Trying to get onto Crownie, but good buffer on the E, and now suddenly the crash down is there. BDS with a beautiful re-engage, and that is going to break this game wide open.
Adam's not even doing anything and they're winning the fight. Like, what is that, man? Glory went for the big play, but Crownie way too slippery. This was an absolute shellacking from level 1 with Adam flashing onto the face of Sparda in the top lane. Sheo never left, and BDS never let up.
Adam literally started the game by ganking his own lane. and just decimating from there. 14-2, a 24-minute win here. BDS, they have shown up to play-ins. They dominated Golden Guardians to get here, and they are meaning to carry on where they started off here. 15-2 as they look for a couple of bonus kills. Sheo just about gets away with his life as the Nexus falls.
Welcome to Worlds BDS. After the 3-0 to qualify versus Golden Guardians, they look good here in their first Worlds match up against Team Wales. I mean, just obscene things happening on the top side of the map. And now if you are Team Wales, it's all gotta, like, I don't know if it is the Gods ban and you have to take away Garen, Olaf, Darius, and just whatever it is, don't belly pick top lane. I think that's rule number one.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it helps, because as long as Adam gets one of those champions, he just knows exactly how to crush inside the lane. How many people are going to pick the Darius flash W at level 1 after taking the initial trade? Like, I thought it was over.
It's the part that's like the cherry on top for me is like he flashed the W at level 1 to start winning the fight, and then ghosted to do it again.
Yeah.
Like immediately, just both summoners forced the flash out from his opponent as well. Like the initial flash looks terrible in isolation until you see the ghost follow-up that forces the opponent's flash. And then you're like, oh, I get it. Now suddenly it all makes sense.
But it's literally, when someone has a pocket pick like that, every game you play against it, it's a learning experience, right? Because Adam, you play against that Darius once, now you know what to expect. Can you do anything about it? And can you adapt in 20 minutes? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. This is not a pick that you get to practice against often. We're going to kick it over to Trevor and the lads to break this one down and, I mean, I guess talk about Adam for 10 minutes.
But
Correct.
Yes.
We're doing that.
Mudge, since you asked me to, okay, that wasn't the plan. Garen, yes. Darius, yes. I'm just waiting for Olaf and Set. I mean, look, gods. While the game started in favor and hugely Adam one-sided, let's talk a little bit more about how he extended that later into the game. Let's start by just running the roles, though, because it was a beautiful start. Adam doing Chatham things.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, the desk was talking about the uses of summoner spells in the beginning. It's something in the top lane where at times, especially when you play Darius, it's actually worth for you to trade your summoner spells in the beginning to get your full stacks off, just because you get lane priority of it. And that's something that's really important. The renekton is running Ignite in this matchup, but if you flash for your passive in the beginning, you do way more damage than the Ignite would actually give you, and you get a ton of lane prio. But I also love the way that every time they get a kill, look at the wave. They always crash it and they get a slow push back. It makes the entire laning phase completely unplayable for Sparda as soon as Adam got that first kill.
And I like to point about how familiar you are with this. Obviously, guess who's played a lot more Darius versus renekton than like who's played more of this matchup? It's probably Adam.
Yes.
And I think the decision to opt into playing the Adam minigame, that's what it is to me. It's like you're going to play a separate game than just League of Legends if you're going to opt into this. And the fact that you take the Ignite, you take the renekton, and then you path topside as well to try and fight these 2v2s, which clearly BDS are way more experienced and know how to play these out better.
Yeah, I love just a little animation he got through on his Q with the Rakan as well. Sparda just walking into it. Look at these statistics from a top laner. I mean, it's absolutely unreal.
I heard
14 minutes.
Matter.
Yeah, Adam makes it a little bit different here. The CSD at 1450, the goal difference 3.3.
Oh, on that
But also
note,
take a look at the jungle proximity. A lot of the early game was about the top lane. Seeing 25% of the jungle's time in the early game spent on top lane is
two things.
Very rare occurrence.
The way Mark just set that up, I need my stats one more time. Sorry, if you can scroll back, thank you. That is the second highest goal difference at 14 for a top laner in World's history. Okay, the record was set by LA from LNG at 3,600 gold in World 2021 in Plains. It was against LLA's Infinity. 3,300 gold. That is what we're talking about.
Just one more solo kill.
Yes,
he had it.
Listen. The second highest in World's history. And what I will be stealing and using for the rest of the tournament, Mark, is do you opt into the Adam minigame? That was something that happened. The Adam minigame then spilled over. It led to a Baron fight, or 20-minute pre-Baron fight, I should say. Adam ends up surviving. Coolbog, I'll come back to you. Break this next one down. I mean, by this point, we start to lose hopium that Glory could pull it back.
I mean, I saw he had that Sterex ready already with this play. You get a 4-man Q after. You're living this. And, you know, I appreciate the effort coming out from Wales, because when everything goes wrong, all you can do is just try and go for a good old Flannic Bush, see if you can find the shutdown, farm those coins. it just doesn't work because you spend everything just trying to kill Adam. He had the highest damage as a top laner. That rarely ever happens, and when it does, it's because you get a busted-ass champion like Rumble instead. This time around, it's Darius just taking over the game.
How many champions can we add together to equal Darius on the enemy team? At least 3. You can go the entire top side plus the Rakan.
That's a bit.
Yeah, that's pretty good when 3 champions equal you.
But I also think that if you want to play, you ask, do you want to play the game with Adam? You need to have done your research specifically for when Adam will bust out these champions.
Yeah.
The Darius is in contrast to a renekton. The Garen is in contrast to a Jax. He has very specific play patterns.
When do we see Olaf instead?
Well, Olaf actually functions into the renekton as well. So if you ban the Darius, he will still play the Olaf as well.
I'm playing the minigame. I want to collect gods right now, right? I know the 2 that we've seen on Garen don't technically count as an update as well. Despite 6 solo kills in the qualifying series, they do not count towards World Championship statistics. So, Adam's Darius is now on the board. 2 solo kills only here at Worlds. I have heard that Team Wales have selected red side. So while we start to wrap this up, I think we might be going to an ad break soon. Team Wales, it was always going to be an uphill battle. They're playing red side again. What do you want to see changed?
Hey, Glory was ahead. I was happy about that.
God.
He was against Nuke.
Barely
he was ahead with like 10 to 20 CS. He was winning the matchup. I said Glory was a good play. What can you do when the rest of the map is just burning? Actually, not the rest. Just the top side is burning like that.
I'm saying that's what you do. Just ignore top side. Go ahead. He's going to play. Adam's going to do Adam things. And if you try and stop him directly head to head, I feel like that's a harder recipe for success than going to mid lane a little bit more. If you have the Neeko for setup, go gank there more often or play around bot lane. Do something else. Adam's going to get a lead. He's going to run mid. Try and just negate that a little bit.
I have to steal exactly what both Ender was saying at the end. Is like, how do you deal with it? You've got 20 minutes to try figure it out. How do you get away from that minigame? I don't know. After the break, we will continue talking about Adam's gods on the Adam God Show today, apparently. Until then, you can check out all the world's 2023 content of your favorite creators over at youtube.com/gaming. We will see you after this for Game 2 of Team Wales versus Team BDS.
Bringing in a new roommate to save money, is that the plan?
Say hi to Glenn from work.
Yeah, I think I have a much better plan. We switched to my plan from Verizon.
That is a good plan. Glenn?
Get my plan starting at just $25 when you bring your own phones. Plus, save when you add perks like the Disney Bundle. It's your Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.